evening, everyone, and welcome to Wellness Matters. Tonight's episode is going to appeal to everyone, young and old. It's going to be a very interesting discussion, I promise, but it can be made better with your interaction, so post your comments and questions in the live chat, and don't be shy. The COVID-19 pandemic has restricted our ability to move, to exercise, and eat healthy. With being stuck at home and with the kitchen only a few steps away, many of us were tempted to eat more and exercise less. As a result, inches piled around our waist and hips. Tonight, we are going to discuss everything about dieting and healthy eating. We are going to debunk the myths, highlight the facts, and help you choose the best course of action to lose weight. We are going to discuss all this with Clinical Dietician Aya Serhal, who has a master's degree in clinical nutrition from the St. Joseph University in Lebanon. Aya, it's great to have you with us tonight.
Thank you. So happy to be here with you tonight.
I'm very excited about tonight's episode.
Me too.
We all need to diet. I'm definitely one of them. So let's start first by getting to know you a little bit better. And I was hoping we can do it in a fun way tonight. So we're going to switch things up a bit and start with 10 fast questions.
Okay.
What I want you to do is answer quickly and concisely. Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay. So what's the career accomplishment you're most proud of?
My publication.
Why did you choose to become a dietitian?
I lost 20 kilos.
Wow. What's the one food that you know is not healthy but you can't give up?
Sugar.
What's the biggest diet myth?
Tomato makes you gain weight.
I should tell that to my husband.
For sure.
So what's your diet motto?
Balance.
And is low fat always healthier than full fat?
Not really.
If you have cholesterol, you can't eat eggs. Myth or fact?
Myth.
What's the healthiest oil to cook with?
Olive oil, coconut oil.
What about saturated fat? Is it all bad for you?
No.
And should you exercise in the morning or in the evening to increase your metabolism?
Whatever suits you better.
Okay, great. Great job, Aya. But you mentioned that you lost 20 kilos. I'm very impressed. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
This was the main inspiration for me to become a dietitian. I decided to lose weight when I was 16. And I went to a great dietitian, and I had a personal trainer. So I did it the correct way, and I fell in love with healthy lifestyle, healthy eating. And I decided actually to make this lifestyle change to everyone else around me. And that's why I became a dietitian, to spread this message to everyone.
And I hope you inspire everyone watching us tonight.
I hope so.
So let's start with all the fad diets we hear about. Many of them.
Yeah,
the keto diet, the paleo diet, intermittent fasting, and so on. Let's start with the keto diet, as it seems like it's the most prevalent at the moment and trending.
True.
So can you explain what it is and how does it work?
Okay, let me start first to tell you a little bit about the ketogenic diet. Actually, it's a diet that has been around for a long time, like 100 years maybe. But doctors used to ask for this diet or prescribe this diet to treat children with epilepsy to decrease the seizures. Nowadays, it's becoming really famous for its weight loss effect, and there's a lot of studies about its effect on diabetes, cancer, and especially also for COVID-19. There's no conclusions yet, but the studies are going on. Basically, it's a high-fat diet. 80% of your calories should be from fat. It is moderated in protein and very, very low in carbohydrates, so basically 50 grams of carbohydrates maximum per day. The allowed food actually are full-fat cheese, full-fat Greek yogurt. We have nuts, seeds, avocado, oils. We have eggs, chicken, beef, fish. The not allowed list of food is fruits and vegetables, starchy vegetables actually, like potato, legumes, beans, peas. We have also everything, bread, pasta, and all these food groups. And it actually boosts the weight loss by the fact that usually our cells use sugar and glucose to generate energy. But when we are following a low carbohydrate diet, automatically the body will shift from using glucose to start using fatty acids and ketones to produce energy. And that's the ketogenic diet, or the ketones of the ketogenic diet.
But is it okay for someone to follow that diet long term? Are there any side effects?
Okay, I will be fair at the beginning. Is it effective? I will say yes. it is making people lose weight. But we have to be careful. The weight loss that we achieve at the beginning, it's only water. The real weight loss of a ketogenic diet is after 2 to 3 weeks to enter the real ketosis. Basically, the diet has short-term, and we're not eating very nutritive foods in this diet. So we're not eating fruit, we're not eating vegetables, there's a little fibers in the diet. On the short term, we can have something called keto flu. It's similar to the flu symptoms, which is like headache, fatigue, runny nose. On the long term, it can cause kidney stones, liver diseases, it can cause severe deficiencies, and definitely it's not recommended for pregnant women, for lactating women, and anyone with eating disorder. It's not recommended for them. And to be honest, the comparison between ketogenic diet and lifestyle modification and long-term showed that they have the same effect. So why go into a restrictive diet if we can achieve it with a lifestyle?
I completely agree. But does ketosis also affect the brain?
It does affect the brain. So sometimes if it is exaggerated, it can cause severe adverse effects like coma, let's say, if it's not really controlled. So that's why everyone who have serious medical conditions, especially diabetic people, they are not really encouraged to follow these types of diets.
Now, another diet which has a big following as well is the Paleo diet.
True.
So can we start by highlighting the differences between the Paleo, which is also maybe high in protein, more so than the keto diet? I'll let you explain.
A little bit more. They're totally different, actually. The Paleo diet, the concept of it is making people eat the same way the early humans used to eat before agriculture. The list of food allowed, basically, it's nuts, seeds, we have lean protein, and especially fish. We have also oils. These things are allowed. The not allowed are cereals, wheat, oats, barley, dairy products are not allowed, processed food, sugar is not allowed, potato is not allowed. The difference between the ketogenic diet, I believe, Paleo is more balanced than keto because it encourages people to eat everything that is natural and not processed. But do we consider it as a hit or as the magic diet? No, not really, because I believe it's removing from our diet main sources of protein and fibers like legumes and dairy products, and it's not affordable for everybody, and doesn't have any additional health benefits. That's it.
What about intermittent fasting? I hear almost half my coworkers are following intermittent fasting. So what's the story there?
Honestly, it's my favorite, and I follow intermittent fasting. There's different techniques to follow intermittent fasting, but all of them have the same concept of specifying specific times, periods to eat and to fast. The most common one is the 16 to 8, which means that we're going to fast for 16 hours and including the sleeping hours, and eat during 8 hours. During the fasting hours, we are allowed to drink sugar-free drinks, water, tea, coffee with no sugar. During the eating hours, we shouldn't go crazy. It's not because we are fasting that we can eat whatever we want. Basically, intermittent fasting is not a weight loss diet. It's a weight loss technique that should be with a lifestyle to be able to induce weight loss. And nowadays, it's becoming more and more famous because there's a lot of studies on its benefits on aging, immunity, diabetes, cancer. Amazing studies, but these studies are focusing specifically on something called circadian rhythm. What these studies have found is that when we eat during daytime and we stop eating during nighttime, and if you are eating a balanced diet, it means that we have the best effect on weight and especially on diabetes. But I have to tell you something, it doesn't have the same effect for everybody. So don't expect to have the same effect of someone else. Think more of it of a healthy thing you're adding to your life. I think it's good.
But some of them also fast 2 days a week on 500 calories a day, and then the 5 other days they more or less eat a normal number of calories. How about that method?
This method, I thought it was very restrictive at the beginning, but now it's showing that it's good, especially for women. So it's not as bad as before, and it is achievable. So people are not reporting any side effects of it. So why not? It's a good technique.
It's good you mentioned the women because there are some studies which say that intermittent fasting can adversely affect female hormones and might possibly later on lead to disruptions in the cycle, infertility. What's your take on that?
Honestly, anything that is very restrictive can affect women's body and hormones. Anything. It's not only intermittent fasting. But actually, there's specific tips actually for women when they are following intermittent fasting. It's not harmful if you are not fasting more than 16 hours. So for women, I would recommend 14, maximum 16 hours fasting. It's safe. And it's very important that they should eat proper meals and nutritious meals after they break their fast to be able to balance their hormones. And some studies are saying the 5-2 is a good technique for them.
Okay, good to know, because I think so many people would be interested to know about that. Now, one more diet that we're not hearing so much about, but I thought would be interesting to include is the blood type diet.
Okay.
So eating for your blood type. How scientifically proven is that?
Actually, it's an old diet. It's an old trend that's now a little bit decreasing, and I like that it's decreasing. Basically, the blood type diet encourages people, especially with type A, B, and AB, to eat more plant-based food and eliminate red meat. But the exception is blood type O, where they tell them eat more protein. Okay. Going through the literature, or I can say the lack of literature, there's no scientific evidence for this type of diet. People usually lose weight because they are dieting, not because they followed something related to their blood type. And somehow they are following a healthy lifestyle. It's kind of similar to Paleo, okay? So you're eating fruits, vegetables, and good food. That's why you're losing weight. It's not related to your blood type.
What about some people believe that, you know, you do the blood test, which can decide what intolerances you have, and then accordingly you change your diet. What do you think about that?
Okay, let me start with something very important. These tests are for intolerances and not allergies. So it will not detect the allergies you're having. Allergies are something serious and related to your immune system. Intolerances are mainly focused about your digestive system and enzymes. To be honest, it's not a test to detect which food makes you gain weight. So if someone tells you that cucumber makes you gain weight, don't believe that. It's more of maybe this type of food is hard on your body to digest, that it might, and I'm saying it might, cause a little bit water retention or difficulty in losing weight, but there's no solid scientific background for it.
Now, what about kids? When it comes to dairy, for example, I'm someone who struggles with my daughter who doesn't like dairy.
Yeah.
And I'm always concerned about her having enough calcium.
Okay.
So what should parents be concerned about kids not eating dairy?
Honestly, there is now a debate between if milk and dairy is healthy or not healthy. There's no classification for dairy, okay? Because it has different effect on different people. But my advice is, because the problem with dairy actually is the lactose, and it's the hormone and antibiotic in milk. So if you don't have any side effects when you're consuming dairy, go ahead and consume dairy products, but be specific about the quality of dairy that you are using, less in hormones and organic. If you're not, you can choose the lactose-free. And you cannot generate that dairy is bad because there's a yogurt and kefir or all fermented dairy. They are very, very healthy because they are probiotic. For kids who doesn't like dairy products, it's not really a problem because they can have enough calcium from other sources like salmon, broccoli, beans, spinach. And there's an international recommendation to fortify anything that like orange juice or morning cereal with calcium. So always read the labels on the products you buy for your kids and try to include in every meal a source of non-dairy calcium source.
So how much is enough though? Because the reason why maybe parents mostly think of dairy is because there's a high concentration of calcium in a smaller portion.
True.
So if I want to make this up, how much broccoli should I feed my daughter or fortified cereals or so on?
To be honest, a toddler needs around 700 milligrams per day. So it depends on the product you're buying. Always read and see how much is in the serving of the orange juice, of the cereal you're serving to your kid, and you can give him accordingly. Don't worry about the calcium, and try to substitute, if they don't like milk, they will like yogurt with some fruits because it changed the flavor for them. Not really, no. Keep using the non-dairy stuff.
I speak from experience.
So if you add one source for breakfast, one source for lunch, and one source for dinner. It will be enough for them.
Okay. Moving on to some of the other things that I think are controversial to a certain extent. So should you go for full fat versus low fat? The controversy is endless.
True. For so many years, we've been telling people use low fat because it was considered that the fat in milk is considered saturated fats. And the recommendation was to reduce your intake of saturated fats because it is bad for the heart and for your lipid profiles. Nowadays, there's a huge shift in studies. New studies are saying that these saturated fats in dairy products, they are not affecting your health. Plus, they would be beneficial to lose weight because it gives you more satiety. But I cannot say that go for full fat. There's still no recommendations for it. For now, and my personal advice, if you have any medical condition, stick to low fat. If you're fine, you don't have any medical condition, you can use the full fat, but in moderation, and always choose the correct product.
Now, the thing is also with low fat is that you have added sugar compared to full fat.
True.
So how do you weigh the benefits versus the...
Not all low fat have sugar. So always read and pick your sugar-free product. That will be okay.
Okay. Now, let's talk about some of the general facts and myths about diet.
Yeah.
So one of my favorites is having like a bit of lemon and warm water in the morning would help with weight loss. Another one is vinegar, apple cider vinegar mainly.
True.
So myth or facts, and why?
Big myth, guys. You will never lose weight if you do this. Never. First, the temperature of water, hot, cold, ice doesn't have any effect. Very, very minimal that we don't talk about. Adding lemon or vinegar, actually, I think it's just a source of vitamin C. Nothing will happen. The apple cider vinegar is very, very, very healthy, but you still can add it to your salad and your food. What happens basically is a placebo effect. People, when they start doing this thing, they're more aware of their lifestyle and eating a little bit healthy. When they lose weight, they said, because I was drinking this drink. So it's not a magical drink.
I hear it all the time. Okay, now let's talk a bit about diet pills. A lot of people turn to diet pills to help them maybe with appetite, to suppress appetite, and to hopefully lose weight. So what's your take on diet pills? What do you think, good or bad?
For me, I will say bad. But let me explain a little bit the types of pills we're having right now and why I'm saying it's bad. First, we have 3 or 4 categories. The most common ones, we have the appetite suppressant, which they work on the brain to make the person's appetite less. Basically, they give them with diet and exercise to induce weight loss. These pills can have adverse effect, like high blood pressure, like insomnia, fatigue, blurred vision. So this can be very dangerous for someone. We have also the lipase inhibitors, which mean they will reduce the absorption of fat in your body. They were used much more before, and now more and more less right now. These can cause severe deficiencies in fat-soluble vitamins, and plus gastrointestinal problems, diarrhea, cramps, bloating, and so on. Now they are more using, I'm going to say, diabetic medication to lose weight. Some of them get the FDA approval. But my point is, when you are taking the medication, when you're going to stop it, what will happen next? If we don't change the mentality, you're going to put yourself at risk of a medication to lose weight, then you would regain it back again because you didn't change the mentality. And especially that studies have shown that adding a weight loss medication only increases your weight loss by 3%. So it's not that extreme result.
Now, a lot of people lose the weight, manage to do it, and then it all creeps back up.
100%.
So maintenance is the main issue. I'm definitely one of them. I keep fluctuating up and down 3-4 kilo range.
I'll tell you my secret.
What's your secret, please?
Okay, this is a big problem. And I will tell you something. Now, and I'm so happy that's happening now, the concept of dieting is dying with time. And now we're replacing it with something called intuitive eating. So listen to your body, listen to your hunger and satiety cues, and then forget about dieting. Just the fact that after losing weight, if you just start focusing on your health, so you're eating to make yourself feeling strong and healthier, you're eating a balanced diet, stop putting limitations for yourself. If now I will tell you, you are allowed to eat whatever you want, nothing is not allowed. Trust me, you will not feel the craving of everything else. It's a human nature that when we know it's not allowed, we started craving more.
Correct.
And when we ignore our cravings, we crave more. So basically for me, eat balanced, eat from everything in moderation, from all food groups here on the table. We can build a healthy plate. We can listen to our body. It's very important to eat when your body tells you I'm hungry, and to stop eating when you're full. Just by starting communicating with your body, you will be able to cut your food in half. And just respect the fact that your body have different needs at different times. So make it as a combination between satisfying your cravings, health, exercise, and you're good.
I mean, that's great, but unfortunately, it's not as easy to implement.
True, 100%.
Especially when you're faced with yummy desserts or a nice dinner you're at or so on. So it's more challenging.
100%.
Why don't you give us an idea of what a typical woman would need on a typical day, let's say?
On a typical plate, I will say.
Yes.
Okay, if you want to build a healthy plate, anywhere you are, you don't need to measure and cups and weight. Just as simple as that. If we consider this is our plate,
Yes.
okay, and we're gonna build the plate. Usually, fill half of your plate with vegetables, all right?
Okay.
So this is half of the plate. Here we have the sources of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are not the enemy. Carbohydrates are not the enemy. They are the main sources of energy for our body. So just choose your source of carbohydrates and control the portion. So this is the remaining part of the plate. If I choose potato, let's say,
Okay.
so I will place my potato here.
Can
So
I actually
this
have
is-
all this potato or
Of course,
half of it?
of course, the whole. If we wanna, I will explain a little bit the concept of portions. So if I want to add the protein in here, so I will add my protein in here. So basically that's it. Fill half of your plate with vegetables. The other half, cut it in half, put your carbs here, and put your meat in here. Always make place for dessert. One piece of chocolate is not the reason that you gained weight. It's the whole box of chocolate that makes you gain weight. All right? You asked me about the potato, which is very good. If we want to simplify this as much as possible, everyone according to their portions.
Okay.
So if you want to measure your carbohydrates, is this size of a fist. Okay? If you want to measure, and according to your fist size. And if you want to measure vegetables, it's 2 hands. And if you want to measure your protein, it's this size.
Okay.
So this is an easy way to eat everything in moderation.
But I'm not sure this piece of protein is going to make me full.
But the whole plate will make you feel full.
Okay, I really, really hope so.
Try it and tell me.
Okay.
Eat slowly, eat without distraction,
That's
and
my
tell
problem.
me.
I eat very fast.
Yes.
Now, in conclusion, what's the healthiest way, do you think, to how can you change your lifestyle, and what kind of diet out of everything we discussed is probably the healthiest to follow going forward?
Okay, I will say, and nobody really focuses on this diet, for the second year in a row, the best diet is the Mediterranean diet. A Mediterranean diet that's usually similar to what you are eating in this area. It's basically, the base of this diet is carbohydrates, good carbohydrates, rich in fibers. We have to choose also fruits, vegetables, healthy oils, and limit a little bit the consumption of red meat. So I recommend this, and that's my secret after 20 years. Okay, after 20 kilos, sorry. Moderation is the key. Don't deprive yourself from anything. Focus on having nutritious food like the Mediterranean diet, which is top 1 in the world, ranked in 2019 and 2020, and you'll be good.
I really hope so. Now, I think also a question that many parents ask, how can you teach kids about healthy eating without making them feel bad about their body image, especially if you have a child that's a bit overweight, let's say?
True, that's actually a very big issue. And we have to deal with this matter with very particular way. First of all, kids usually, we are the role model. So they will eat whatever we are eating. We cannot tell our kids, don't eat chips, don't eat chocolate, don't eat fast food, and I'm sitting in front of them eating this. So try to show them that you are eating healthy to do the same. Plus, I will advise you never ever to comment your kid's weight in front of him. This is not his fault that he gained weight. He didn't make his food choices. He was affected to make the food choices. So try to guide him to discover more about healthy eating. First of all, if the kid doesn't like a certain types of food, make the kids involved in the preparation of food. So let's say if your daughter doesn't like salad, let's go to the supermarket. Let's see which kind of vegetables you will add. Let them cut, wash, because usually kids eat what they prepare. So they will start liking what they prepare, mostly the healthy food. They don't like it. Plus, always keep in front of them at home the healthy snacks and not the unhealthy snack and tell them do not eat it. So usually they tend to snack without even noticing when there are carrots, fruits in front of them. And the most important thing, talk about your feelings of satiety and hunger in front of them. So you might say in front of your kids, this looks very delicious, but I'm full. So maybe I'll eat that tomorrow. So they will know that they don't have to eat everything when they are there. They can save it for tomorrow. Don't push them to finish their meals because kids sometimes they're not very hungry.
I completely agree.
Yes, and they will not starve themselves. They know how much they are hungry. So let them decide their portion. And do not label them food as good and bad. Maybe better idea to tell them this is green light, red light. Let them color them in different colors because they need to know that everything is allowed in diet and everything should be in moderation. Even healthy food should be in moderation, not in obsessive way.
Correct. I completely agree with what you said. Now, what if we want to end by giving a few tips to our viewers, especially now with the holiday season coming up, the new year, how can they prepare for maybe a commitment to dieting and a healthier lifestyle?
I will not say decide to commit to a diet because I know now
on
New Year's there will be New Year's resolution. No, just start thinking about it as this year I will start focusing on my health. Because, and let me clarify this, nutrition and dieting is not about what makes you gain weight and makes you lose weight. It's more about a state of health, and we should really focus on that. During the holidays, start to enjoy the food during the holidays. Start to walk, achieve your daily steps, 10,000 steps a day, which makes you burn 300 calories per day without even noticing that.
That would be great.
Exactly, exactly. Portion your food, everything you like, a little bit every day. I think this New Year's resolution should be, I will focus on myself, my body, and my health, and not go over and over on the trend, on the fat diet that makes me gain weight and lose weight again.
I like that. I'm going to try it for the new year for sure. Maybe I'll start tomorrow, hopefully.
Let me know.
In the end, Aya, I'd like to thank you so much for this lovely chat. I really enjoyed our discussion. I hope our viewers did too.
Yeah.
And as Aya said, we have to make lifestyle changes to focus on health and hopefully live a healthier lifestyle and include exercise as well in it. So why not start now with baby steps so that hopefully you can make a healthier choice with the new year. And join us next week at 8:30 p.m. Dubai time for more on sports medicine with Dr. Ghazwan Makki, who is an orthopedic surgeon at the American Hospital. And have an amazing night. Good night.